Heyo! This video is about the AMA Austin did on 8chan's V board of all places. It took place on June 29, 2015 to try to promote his up-and-coming game at the time, Lisa the Joyful. Like the last Austin AMA video, this one will cover the interesting and sometimes silly questions from the AMA. Keep in mind, this AMA was done before Lisa the Joyful came out, and in the year 2015, so the humor here, on top of being on 8chan, has a lot of things that are pretty much a product of its time. A quick shout out to the peeps on Patreon for supporting the channel, as their support is appreciated for the making of these videos. And let's begin with the questions. Anon asks, "Hey man, loved your games. What was the inspiration for them?" Austin replies with, "Too many inspirations to list. Honestly speaking, I think people that are good at making creative things are fucking big thieves. All the best artists/creators of media do it. You steal from one person, it's plagiarism. You steal from a bunch of people, it's research." Anon asks, "Any ideas when Lisa the Joyful will be added? Is there anything you didn't add that you wish you could have added? What's up with Sticky, Rick, and Cheeks not being party members anymore? Where did you get the idea for Lisa the First? And why is Terry the best crew member?" Austin replies with, "At a point I need to walk away and accept the game won't be perfect, or how I 100% envisioned it. So I can't really speak on it as far as Rick, Stick, and Chick go. I think they would have slowed the game's pace down too much, so I said fuck him. There'll be plot points, not jobber party members. And Terry is a fluke. I never knew he would get over so well." Anon asks, "Who is your waifu?" And Austin replies with, Anon asks, "Hi Austin, it's cool for you to stop by. Did you have any kind of game in mind when you first set out to make Lisa? How closely did the final product match that?" Austin replies with, "This the North Star meets River City Ransom." You can see how far from that it has strayed. Wang asks, "I have a rather offbeat question. Whatever happened to the original concept of Rando, i.e. that one guy in the Kickstarter that looked very hard cut and stern but helped Brad out a lot? I noticed him while doing research on the game, and I'm mildly curious on what happened to him during the development process." Austin responds with, "It's not really worth going into, but I'll say the game's dev was very organic. Things changed on a dime even up until the very end." Anon asks, "I have not played your game, nor do I know what it's about. In your opinion, do you think it's good?" Austin replies with, "Yes and no. I resent RPG Maker, but I do really think I was onto something story/exploring wise. In like 5 years, doing a higher budget remake would be awesome, I think. Then I could fix all the horse shit."
It never happened.
Anon asks, "What inspired you to make Lisa? The story really touched me for a number of reasons, especially as someone with repeated struggles with substance abuse. And thanks for making such an amazing game. Looking forward to Joyful more than any other game this year." Austin responds with, "I have no clue what inspired it. A lot of things? Too many things. It's not really simply, but it's not really that deep either. I just said fuck it, I'll make a game. And I hope it affected you positively. I am really drawn to the more real and human subject matter." Anon asks, "How was the development of the game? Did you have any struggle or personal inconveniences? What has inspired you with the story and the characters? Were they from experiences with people you've met? How do you feel about Lisa and your previous installment of Lisa the First? How big is your dick? Thanks in advance." Austin responds with, "Stressful at times, but fine. Movies, wrestlers, games, real life, all things. Lisa 1 is okay, kinda boring/plain, but then again, Lisa 2 can get that way too at times. And I don't know, 5 to 7 inches? Creep." Anon asks, "Why is Terry so fucking annoying? My second playthrough, I couldn't give him up to those guys in the beginning fast enough." Austin responds with, "He was meant to be hated, but I guess it worked in reverse for a lot of people. Funny how that happened." Anon asks, "Hey, loved your game and still need to play it through on painful mode. Are you still planning on releasing the sequel this summer? Is any of this game loosely based on your personal experience? If so, what parts are you willing to share?" Austin responds with, "I know what everyone thinks, but growing up, my life was very normal. I've never been involved with anything serious or damaging. I can't explain why I'm drawn to dark things." Anon asks, "What's your secret to being such a babe?" Austin responds with, "That pic is so lame. I look like such a try-hard douche. This was when I was trying to audition for roles, acting. But that's lame. I think I'll just stick with making my own stuff from now on." This is the part of the video where Austin starts to answer his questions in bulk. Just keep in mind that if you see his block of answers before the Q&A segment, it's just to show that it's his. Anon asks, "Are you actually Buzzo?" Austin responds with, "I'm Buzzo and Rando." Anon asks, "What tools did you use to make your games?" Austin responds with, "My own ass." Anon asks, "Do you like Lisa being 2D? Would you like to give a 3D Lisa game a try? Or maybe another game at a later date?" Austin responds with, "Lisa 3D would be cool, like Zelda or something. But right now I may stick with 2D since it's what I understand at the moment." Anon asks, "What tips do you offer specifically to someone who wants to make games on his own?" Austin responds with, "Fucking shut up right now and do it. But most importantly, if you're getting bored, or if you start to feel like work, then stop. Rewrite it. I scrapped Lisa's scene so much because I would get bored of it. That's why the game is so bipolar and random. Really, if you're feeling good, /happy, /sad, /whatever you're trying to achieve when deving it, it should translate over to the players. So quit being a nerd and start making a game that you really enjoy making. Cause, dude, really? Wrestling is fucking lame to many people, but I made so many dumb characters and references based on it. And that made it fun for me. And look how I turned out. Pretty cool, right? Whatever, fuck you." Anon asks, "What drove you to tell a story like this? Do you have any advice for fellow game devs? I've been barely working on a game with a similar setting, and I'm still unsure how to approach character and world building. How did your process of that usually go? And finally, where did you get that sound bit of Wally's laugh from?" Also, shout out to the Buckets fan art. Austin responds with, "Cool pick, dude. Because I like weird, dark, and goofy stuff. I answered this earlier, and some free website, freesounds.org, I think?" Anon asks, "At what age did you decide to become a master wushu game developer? Also, what kind of sources did you use for the humor of the game?" Austin responds with, "I don't know, 20? If it made me laugh. If not, I'll still probably put it in." Anon asks, "How/why did Harvey become a lawyer?" Austin responds with, "Overbearing upbringing." Anonymous asks, "Is Harvey fucking Alabaster the greatest character ever?" And Austin responds with, "He's aight. I like Shocklord." Anon asks, "Why have this interview session on /v instead of, say, Reddit?" Austin responds with, "I'll do it on Reddit if someone would set it up. I'm such a noob at this shit. Twitter is annoying enough for me." Anon asks, "Can there be two Lisas and one just be a complete cunt?" Austin responds with, "Maybe there's only one Lisa, and she is the complete cunt." Anon asks, "What's the story with the Lisaverse W2D, and why did he die as a hero?" Austin responds with, "He is like the Banksy of Olathe, super cool underground artist that everyone marks out for." Anon asks, "So Mr. Austin Jorgensen, what brings you to 8chan? Bonus question, what games do you enjoy besides Mother?" Austin responds with, "I like Monster Hunter, fighting games, and Metal Gear a lot." Anon asks, "Of the people you can bring along with you, who is your favorite? Which characters do you have the most fun writing? What's been the biggest hurdle you've faced as a result of RPG Maker?" Austin responds with, "I like Shocklord a lot because his gameplay is so fucking lame. Like him. Terry is fun, Nern was fun, Carp and Harvey too. I liked a lot of the boys." Anon asks, "How'd you get so good at character and world design? I'm looking at screenshots and videos and I'm liking what I see. I'm making a game. And so far, I've only designed one fucker and I've been stuck on this shit for days." Austin responds with, "Think of something/someone you like and design them based off that. Ollie is Popeye. Brad is Bald Kenshiro meets The Last of Us Joel. Shocklord is Shockmaster, etc." I don't know about you guys, but that Popeye analogy? I don't see it. I don't know. Type in the comments if you get it, because I freaking don't. Anon asks, "What's after Lisa the Joyful? Lisa the Fearful? Lisa the Furious? Lisa the Sadness? Will it end with Lisa the End?" And Austin responds with, "A plane simulator and a ninja game." Which only one of them came out, so that's cool, I guess. Shout out to this interaction in particular because Austin bothered signing a copy of Lisa the Painful for a specific person in this thread. Anon asks, "Was there any content you cut from the game that you originally planned for the game? Or did everything turn out fine and dandy?" Austin responds with, I wanted a side quest for all party members, but that would have meant pushing the game back even more. Anon asks, so you obviously seem inspired by a lot of 16-bit games like Earthbound. What games besides Earthbound do you wish you could call your own? Austin responds with, Zelda is cool, also Streets of Rage. I don't know, bunch of shit. Anon asks, so Lisa the First was like Yume Nikki? The painful was Earthbound and joyful an expansion? Will your next game be a Cave Story or Touhou clone to compete with the holy trinity of Japanese weird indie titles? Austin responds with, next game is a Hotline Miami meets Monster Hunter meets More Tears.
It's totally made up.
Anon asks, will there ever be justice towards Buzzo? Austin responds with, Buzzo's coming back, but justice? It's a lot of gray area with that poor guy. Anon asks, what's your favorite firearm and do you own any? Austin responds with, nah, not at all. I live with my brother and he has a shotgun. I really do not like guns at all, especially being a martial artist. It's sad knowing I spent decades doing martial arts and can be gunned down with one bullet by anyone that gets a little permit. Guns scare me a lot, let's just say that. It's a lot of power in your hand. Anon asks, did you ever play any point-and-click adventure games? Austin responds with, nah, I think I'm gonna make one soon. That or an FPS adventure game.
It's a made-up tale.
Anon asks, Dingling, what's your favorite game and what game are you looking forward to play? Austin responds with Earthbound, and I look forward to Metal Gear Solid 5. Anon asks, what's your least favorite genre of games? And what's your favorite genre of games in that genre? Austin responds with sports and racing and fucking FPS. Basically anything from Mountain Dew Doritos Xbox horseshit. And fuck it, I'm mad thinking about it. I have no favorites from those kind of bro gamer games. Anon asks, do you like comic books or manga? Austin responds with, I hate superheroes. Not sure why. Just never got into comics except for the Sonic and Archie ones. Manga's cool, but I don't read anything. But I did check out those weird horror ones. Forget the author. But it's the guy that wrote that manga about the people that walk through the cracks in mountains and come out the other side all squiggly. Anon asks, how many bullets can the revolvers in your game hold? Austin responds with, as many as it takes before someone dies. Anon asks, so, who is canonically killed in the final showdown? Austin responds with, everyone. Anon asks, does Tiger Man use a mask or is he some kind of joy mutant? Austin responds with, mask. Anon asks, besides the Lisa series, what other games have you made prior? Austin responds with, I've made a Cowboy vs. Aliens game as a wee lad at Nerd Camp. That's it. Anon asks, if Slash V collectively pitched you a character design, would you consider adding them to Joyful? Austin responds with, fuck no. I've had a hard enough time with Kickstarter people. I'm a huge control freak. Anon asks, I'm curious, how long did it take to make Lisa? Austin responds with, about a year of actual deving and a year of planning / art / music / whatever. So, 2 years total? Anon asks, hey Dingaling, what doth life? Austin responds with, cunt and coin. Anon asks, also you mentioned religious spiritual themes perhaps playing a bigger role in your later works. Anyway, you can give us a small hint on that? Austin responds with, I just like the idea of lore, starting with the character, then moving to their surrounds, then beyond to spirit or higher power. I don't know. That makes sense, but I just think it adds depth, and I can't give you a hint, not until I nail more of the story stuff down. Anon asks, what game do you hate the most? Austin responds with, cliche answer, but stuff like Call of Duty. Anon is asking from a previous question, well, which is it specifically? And Austin responds with, I'm not gonna measure my wiener. Anon asks, what's your favorite anime? Austin responds with, Akira. Anon asks, what's up with joy? There is a really interesting message there with a drug that makes you feel invincible, figuratively and literally turns you into a monster. What was the thought process behind that? Austin responds with, joy started as a gameplay mechanic and they morphed into what it is now. But really, that's how everything kinda happened. It started as one thing, and as I sit in my mind stewing, it transformed into something else. Anon points out, I just want to say that your game has an absolutely amazing soundtrack. It pains me when combat sequences break it up. Austin responds with, I knew making a boring turn-based RPG the only thing would save it is the music. So I made those songs as dumb slash hype slash intense slash ridiculous as I could. Anon asks, is Joyful going to be the last of the series? Are you going to create something new? Or are you going to continue the world? Because I love the idea of making your own stupid ass little macho gang. Also, Hank Hollywood is the best. Austin responds with, yes, as of right now, Lisa will be ending with Joyful. I'm getting burned out with this world and want to move on to the next one. I may revisit it if enough time has passed. Anon asks, who is your personal favorite character and party member? And would you ever consider doing music for other games / developers? Austin responds with, Shocklord, and if you paid me the fat stacks. Anon asks, will I get a Steam discount for Joyful or owning Lisa? Austin responds with, I don't know. Probably not. I want all your money. Anon asks, did you make boatloads of money off selling this game? Austin responds with, it is a living, and I plan on making more. So everyone should make Steam games and quit their jobs. Anon asks, what video game soundtrack is your favorite? Austin responds with Earthbound and Shadow of the Colossus. Anon asks, what's your favorite track in Lisa OST? Austin responds with, I like Die Die Die, I Am Satan. I like the weirder ones. Anon asks, have you ever thought of making a beat-em-up game? But I think as a genre, it's pretty boring. It would need RPG elements or something. Anon asks, surprised this hasn't been asked yet, what are you planning to make after Lisa, Austin? Austin responds with, thanks for asking. Currently working on a music video with my friend, Marina. She's a great actress and singer. The song will be in the Joyful. She's just getting into Twitter and will be posting more deets on that with me. Anon asks, what do you think of Yume Nikki? Obviously it served as some sort of inspiration to Lisa the First, one way or another. Austin responds with, it was an inspiration. I totally ripped it off. Honestly, I just thought, well fuck, I could do this and I'll make it less confusing. And that was the birth of my dev career. Anon asks, do you like building the mechanics and audio-visual stuff, or writing the story more? Austin responds with, gosh, I like creating atmosphere. Shoot, good question. I think I just really like seeing things come together as a whole. Anon asks, what was your favorite random dude battle in Lisa? Austin responds with, I don't know, like Cosmo and Brightside, the guy that blows his brains out. Anon asks, what is Columbo's favorite food? And most / least favorite thing? Please, Dingling. Austin responds with, turkey legs? Fave? Abuse animals. And not fave. Own up to his mistakes. Anon asks, is Buddy a virgin? Austin responds with, I can happily say, yes she is. Anon asks, a lot of characters say in-game that Buddy is ugly. Just how ugly is she? Austin responds with, she's a 4 out of 10. From the last question, Anon points out they were talking about Farty, since he was kidnapped by the hair club and advertised as the last woman in LA. Austin responds with, true, but also people in the game find her unattractive. Anonymous with an awesome Lisa the First screenshot saying, fuck you too, by the way. And Austin responds with, oh, just you wait. Anon asks, is the Green Ranger still alive? Will he come back as Kamen Rider Green? Austin responds with, Green Ranger is dead. Anon, after the awesome comment of what Austin's potential next game would have been, says, don't toy with my emotions, Dingaling. And Austin, unfortunately, responds with, I'm serious, dude. I'll do my best to deliver on this premise.
It never happened.
Anon asks, how did you go about balancing your RPG? Austin responds with, dude, I really didn't. That's why you can wreck the whole game with the right party combo. Anon asks, how'd you get so good at pixel art? Austin responds with, be an artist. Anon asks, is Zesty gonna be okay? The only justice I want is him getting the beans and toast he deserves. Austin responds with, not gonna happen. Anon asks, did you experience an increased sadness or depression while making Lisa? Is there anything you drew inspiration from? Austin responds with, not really, but when I was sad or angry, it was so therapeutic to write stuff, or change stuff that's already been written to reflect my pissy, pretentious mood. Anon, answering on a previously answered question, states, I think it's nice that not all party members are created equal, force you to make hard decisions about who's expendable and who isn't. Austin responds with, that's true, as well as a good point. I feel bad for Percy, because I know everyone jobs that lame ass out of the roulette right away. Anon asks, do you ever think Lisa will go to the consoles eventually? Or never ever? Austin responds with, if it gets remade. Anon asks, I can't think of any reason why modern consoles wouldn't be able to run RPG Maker games. Even shit like the 3DS? Austin responds with, because RPG Maker was created by Hell and Satan to fuck everything up. Anon asks, did you ever consider making Terry suck for the entire game, just as a kick in the nuts to people who thought he'd be the sort of character he actually is? Austin responds with, in hindsight, that would have been funny. Anon asks, Mr. Dingling, how do I get a girlfriend? Austin responds with, use your fingers.
Yeah.
Anon asks, do you have any background story on buckets? Also, what's your favorite Monster Hunter weapon? Austin responds with, no background, he's a secret to everyone. And finally, a good question! As of right now, I use hammer, I used hunting horn. I just love those impactful animations. Anon asks, is Olathe the name of a town or country? Is it based on that Kansas town, or is it like Eagleland from Earthbound? Austin responds with, my parents own property in Olathe, Colorado. That's where it came from. Anon asks, how good are you programming? I'm curious as to how you made such a great game with fucking RPG Maker, lol. Austin responds with, I'm bad. No scripting knowledge. I just use other people's scripts. I really just pushed the limits of what's in engine and tried to be creative. Anon asks, was Percy just there to keep Rick's moveset from going to waste? Kinda seems that way with him looking like a palette swap and his shit bio. Austin responds with, you nailed it. Anon asks, was there any characters besides the group that Brad was with initially that were cut from the player roster? Also, who's more handsome, Hank or Clint? Austin responds with, no, the opposite actually. I had to make up more characters to fill the roster up. You mean Hawk Hollywood? Clint's more handsome. Hawk is fucked. He is insane. He looks like shit and wears makeup in an effort to glorify his horrible looks. Visually, if Lisa was a live-action movie, he would look like Heath Ledger's Joker. And for the final question, Anonymous asks, who is your favorite character in Lisa? Austin responds with, the first thing that comes to mind is Shocklord, but if I really thought about it, I could probably come up with a more important character. Brando is pretty interesting as well, I suppose. And with that, that concludes the first page of the AMA. If you want to see more things like this, go subscribe, and thank you for watching because, you made it this far, so I'm personally thanking you for sticking around for the whole thing. Also, if you wanted your name in the video, go check out the Patreon and shoot me enough money to buy an energy drink, and that name slot is yours. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. Thanks for watching, and I guess I'll see you guys whenever the next upload or stream happens. Okay, bye.